We've made a decision that all the proceeds from this softball game will go to the Baton Rouge Relief Fund. The more you're watching and, this thing is looking like a Sandy disaster, almost worse than that. We're going to go through Red Cross. So the foundation will give any money that's raised, it will go directly to the Red Cross, all the proceeds from it. Papa John's, again, will probably announce something this afternoon. They're going to help us with some sort of pizza sales, which they've done in the past in these kind of disasters and have been very, very generous. Alltech, who sponsoring the softball game, all that money that they were giving to sponsor will go directly to this relief fund. What I'm asking is for the people to buy those tickets to this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets are $5, $10. There are some $20 tickets. You go on CoachCal.com. You can purchase online. We are going to, if there is any kind of rain issue, if you bought the tickets, we're going to have an open practice for those people that bought those tickets. So you'll have that ticket that'll get you to the practice that only you will see. So there'll probably be a lot of people hoping for rain on Sunday. There'll be a lot of rain dancing on Sunday to hope that we do rain out, but it should be a lot of fun. We're doing something else because of what we've been able to do through raising money through this weekend. I could not give all the weekend money. Again, we've raised over $1 million the last 3 years at this weekend foundation and given it away to the fantasy stuff. The issue became we've already committed money to different charities, and that money that goes to those charities is very important to them. So what we're doing is we're going to ask everybody, and we've given you a hard copy, to text the word GIVE to 859-955-8173. Text the word GIVE to that number, and then you go through the process and you can make a donation. That would be given directly, 100% of it would be given directly to the American Red Cross. I did it myself to see how long it would take, and it took under 2 minutes. It took me a minute and a half, and I'm like, can't see, and my fingers are getting bigger, and I'm struggling with stuff. So you can do it quickly, and no donation is too small. When you have this kind of disaster, when you have Storm Sandy, the one thing that was different, the weather was different. When you talk about the heat down in Baton Rouge right now that they have to deal with along with this water, I can't even imagine. So whatever we can do, either by texting, by going to the website and buying tickets to the softball game, all the money for that weekend will be there. Now, Terrence Jones is in town, has been added to the list. Michael Kidd is here. Anthony now, because he and I talked about this Baton Rouge, he's one of the ones that said, Coach, you got to do something this weekend for Baton Rouge. So he's going to try to get back in town. He's out of the country right now. Carl Towns, Nerlens, Alex, Cal Macy, Rex Chapman, Keith Bogans, I'll read some other names. Randolph Morris, Jared Carter, Dale Brown, Tim Couch will be back. Jared Lorenzen, Keenan Burton, Josh Hopkins, the actor from in town. We're going to have a home run derby. I have the dark horse, and he's over 50. The dark horse, John Robick. If anybody wants to make a wager on that, you let me know, and we'll make a wager. We may even call some fans out of the stands to get involved in the home run derby. So because Rupp is under construction of what they're doing and we cannot play the alumni game, this is what we were doing. And you know what? It's a good thing now because we are using the money for all the stuff down in Baton Rouge, and it should be fine. Also this weekend, last thing, we've teamed up with the Starkey Foundation. And as a result of this weekend, we're going to give away 80 hearing aids to Kentucky residents prior to the softball game. So that's going to be a big deal. It's, you know, I'm excited to be a part of that, and again, 80 hearing aids to the Kentucky residents prior to the game.
Now, did any scene from Baton Rouge or story you read moved you toward this?
You know, because of Superstorm Sandy and Lovelette in that area where my wife and I go in the summer, we knew what mold and wet. You have to go in your house within 24 hours and cut the drywall well beyond the water line, take out everything. So your house, you walk in and it's 4 feet of nothing, and then the rest of the house above it. But it wasn't hot like this. It wasn't 95 degrees. I have no idea how they're saving any of those houses unless they were high enough ground that people got in right away and did that. Because when the mold takes over the house, there's nothing you can do. And so the more I watched, and then I heard about the weather, and then they had the president sweating, I'm like, and the houses are still, water still soaked in some of the houses. It's just, you know, we lived it in New Jersey, New York, and now they're living it down there. And, you know, when you see that kind of stuff, it just moves you. And then to call Anthony talking about it too, like, hey, you know what? And I would have done, again, I would have done the whole weekend and given it down there. But we've committed to other charities. And those charities, like I said before, it's important to those charities, the money that we give to them also. I am not. My hip is still bothering me, is my excuse. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Are they moving those charities? I know several people with hearing difficulties, and it's just intriguing to know how those get chosen.
You know, the Starkey Foundation, they go through, there's layers of that where they've got people in the community that test to see if they're able to benefit by the hearing aids, and then they go to the next level, and then it comes to the fitting of the hearing aid, and then the next level is getting involved in the community and getting other people involved. So they do a really good job. And they came at me 2 years ago, and I said, they wanted me to go to another country. Like, why don't you go to Haiti? Why don't you go to Dominican Republic? I said, why don't we do it right here in Kentucky? We've got to have people in need that have hearing issues that need hearing, even young kids. So they're going to be 80, and those things are, that's like $10,000 per hearing aid. 80. Now, those of you in the room can't put that number together, but I mean, it's significant. And Starkey, I've been to the gala. We've had him involved. We've given him money through the foundation. And this year they want to do it this way, and in conjunction with the foundation, they're going to come down, and I'm just happy we can be involved. I want our players to be involved, kind of like we were with Samaritan's Feet, where we're putting socks on washing feet, giving shoes to kids that need it. These hearing aids, when people hear for the first time, where they're like, oh, you know, whether they're young or old or they hear again, it becomes emotional.
Now, this thing of the weekend and the camp is a fantasy camp, of course. You're making these guys and gals, their basketball fantasies come true. What is your basketball fantasy?
It's not fantasy. I mean, it's to win all 40 games sometime before I retire, and then be able to go to an NBA All-Star game, and 12 of the players in the NBA All-Star game have played for us. That wouldn't be, I don't call that fantasy. Fantasy means it's could never happen. So, but those would be two things that would be neat before I don't have to do any more press conferences in front of you guys.
What did you see before you sent them off on a break? What did you see from one of the veterans and two of the new guys that you kind of really getting your first look at?
I was really pleased. You know, from De'Aaron Fox gaining like 10, 12 pounds to Wenyan getting his feet underneath him, the progress that Isaiah made shooting the ball, Michael, Dom, those guys, Derek, all of them have gotten better, and you could just see they're more mature and more at ease. I met individually with the freshmen last night and then as a group. And it's funny, they're just wide-eyed. They're typical wide-eyed. They think they know what they're stepping into, but there's an anxiety because they don't know. And then I'm in there, what do you think I'm sugarcoating it? Like, do you understand how hard this is gonna be? And this is not the next step up, and you're gonna have to be curious, and you're gonna have to learn, or you're gonna get run over. There's no easy way here, and you're gonna have to do it together. You're gonna have to be about each other, and if you're only concerned with yourself, this gets too hard and overwhelming. If you concern yourself with everybody else and still be responsible for you, you can do this. So we had those meetings, and I'm excited to get going. I probably will, the 2 hours a week, more than half of it will be individuals workouts. Now, you may say, well, you're allowed to do team. Why wouldn't you do team? We're not ready for team stuff yet. I mean, whether it be Bam, whether it be Wenyan, whether it be Sasha, even Isaac, who's way better. Like, when you see Isaac now, you're going to say, my goodness, like, he's not even the same guy. They all need individual work, and so do the guards. So the other, if I split it down and it's 40 minutes, I'll probably do 40 minutes of team, and it'll all be dribble drive drills, just teaching them how to play and teach them how to attack and be in balance and throw lobs and do that stuff. So I'm anxious to get going. We go out to recruit on the 9th. I'll be gone for at least 5 straight days. Probably in 5 straight days hit 12 different states. Get done what I got to get done, because if I'm not in the first week, what do you think the other school's saying? Well, if you were important to him, he'd have been here already. So I got to go and just hit 3 states in one day. And, you know, we're not recruiting that many kids. I think it's 8 or 9 kids. But I got to hit them all within the first 4 or 5 days.
Cal, I don't think we've talked to you since Derek's issue at the end of the summer. What's his status?
Well, you guys know I don't throw people under the bus. You guys know how I am. And we deal with every situation in its own right. We gather the information. And Derek knows that he's under a different eye now than he was. But I'm not going to tell you specifically what we did and didn't do. I'm not going to write your stories and do all that stuff. But obviously, he and I have talked a few different times. So.
You use that as a teaching tool to the guys about if you have a misstep, this can be the consequence. It goes public.
Well, that's being here. I mean, that's being at Kentucky, and you can't talk your way out of it. You can't, it's, you know, and that includes our staff.